big, all 5 to start off the playoffs into the second round. Complexity, they will be picking up the 4-spy win. This is ridiculous. You have to see this again from Config. The first, the second, it's a conveyor belt of death for Config. He just takes down player after player.
Yeah, Config's just sheer mechanical aim is unbelievable. He's one of the best players in the world, just in that aspect. I've said it earlier, even when Config wasn't on a top team, and some people kind of laugh at you when you say that, but you see rounds like that, it's clear that Config is just one of the best aimers. He's so good with the digs. I'm going to bring up the stat again, Dinko. 51% of those second round wins for Complexity when they go for those 4 spies in the second round after losing the pistol. They're keeping true to that stat. And, well, if you were still in bed, I think that's woken you up. If you were still kind of half asleep this morning, Config has just given you a reason to wake up, I think it's fair to say. Now it's Heroic's turn, Dinko. Let's see what they can do with the Deeks.
I mean, still going to know what's that A-bomb side. Config's here this time with an AK-47, so... Okay. Okay, that's a good start from Borat, just taking Config away. The Deagle headshot. Config getting a little taste of his own medicine. And a man advantage picked up for Heroic as they now swarm the A-bomb sides. Blue MF through the smoke that connects the kill onto the head of Tessus. But the bomb plant, it's coming in here for Heroic. They get it down. They're looking good. Cadian falls away into a good post-plant position. They've managed to pick up an AK as well, and it's in the hands of Nico. He can hide behind the sandbags, and now Heroic, they're just going to be holding their positions in this post-plant. Complexity, they don't exactly have the greatest weapons for this retake either, if you take a look. Better than Heroics, but still, they've got the post-plant, they've got the bomb down, and they've got that early kill, and the kills keep on coming. It's Nico with another on the AK, Borp on the Deagle, and Alex, you called it out. It was Heroics' time to show up with the Deagles, and they go and do it.
Getting that first kill onto Config makes a big difference as well, because as you were saying, he could have denied them there. He could have shut them down and got multiple kills from that angle. With how he was aiming in the earlier rounds, that was a possibility. Blame F doesn't pull the trigger at the end there. It's all good, though. He stays alive. He carries over the AK. And there is a fair bit of money on the Complexity side, at least in the hands of Config. We'll wait and see what they decide to do with it, because Heroic have taken an early tactical timeout. And honestly, I don't mind that, Dinko. I think we all need a bit of a breather after some of these early rounds. We all need to get ready for what we've got ourselves in for here in this semi-final, because if it's going to continue like this, we're going to have fun.
Oh, definitely. The playoffs is delivering already. We see Config showing up 7-2. This is nuts from him.
It's brought up.
Out of the 8 kills that Complexity have, Config has 7 of them, Alex. That's ridiculous. Obviously, he is helping out a little bit, obviously, but we get to this next one, Heroic. It'll be AK-47s for 3 players, like Galil for Cadian, and an MP9 for Stown. Plenty of utility, but the 4-spy investment for Complexity coming in. They have an AK-47 in the hands of Blim F. He managed to carry over from the previous. The op-out for Config, MP9 for Rush, and Deagles on the rest, as the op goes into the hands of Poison after the initial Config peak.
Right, doing some investigating into mid and B, and Cadian gets the kill up on the boost. That leaves this B site fairly vulnerable now from these angles, but Obo lands the headshot with the D. Again, you can never count Complexity out of these rounds. Oh, this time though, Obo has been caught by Nico, so Heroic back to a 3v3. Again, those guns are still in play for Complexity. They've still got that AK. They've still got that AWP. So Heroic have got to be careful here, but they've still got plenty of time on the clock. One of the problems for them could be the fact they don't really have any nades left. Just the one Molotov for Tessus. But as long as Heroic stick together, they should be able to use their strength in numbers here.
The exciting part for Complexity there is they probably could have been in a huge advantageous position right now, because Obo, he had the lineup onto Tessus. He was doing the damage. If Nico wasn't there, that's another kill for Obo. Complexity then stands in a huge advantage. So Heroic getting off to a pretty lucky start in this round, to be honest. Standing now comes down to this battle. Blim F is going to take the kill. Cadian going down. Oh, well, this is not the start that Heroic were looking for. They're starting to lose players. Poison, he's not going to miss those shots. Tesla's going down, and Nico realizes It's a 1 versus 3. Has to commit to the bomb plant. Secures the extra money at a minimum, but now he looks for the last 3 remaining players. They go in together. 2 crossing into the open. It'll take Rush's kill on the MP9 to result in a round win for Complexity. They'll be tying things up 2-2, and that's the 4-spy win for Complexity across the board.
Well, we're going back and forth, Dinko. Neither side able to string rounds together at the start of this game. I think this is kind of a good summarization of both of these teams as well, what I'm expecting to see from them. Complexity largely relying quite a lot on their individuals, but they've got some good team play as well. I just think the difference between these two teams is probably the firepower. I think Complexity have a big edge in that aspect, and already Poison landing a leg shot onto Tessus there. Not quite getting the kill, but certainly coming close. Playmef still sitting on the backside of this smoke. CT Molotov goes down, and Playmef is just having a look to see if there's anyone here he can find. Nade won't be doing any damage onto Tessus, who's on the other side of the wall. So Heroic keep all 5 alive. They've got themselves the 1 AK into this round alongside a couple of Galils. And the Danes starting to move back towards the B side, where Obo hasn't been tested too much in these recent rounds.
Yeah, he's only really got involved in the action from a memorable point of view 1 time, and did well to find 1. Probably could have got 2 kills from it, but now they are tested. Obo and Rush playing together. First kill from Obo, the second as well. Oh, wow. Okay, Obo, 3 kills, shutting them all down. Tessus falling after 1 kill. He eliminates Obo at least, but going down very quickly after. It's Complexity with 3. That's the kind of round you want from Obo up against the lower tier buy. He just shuts them down, cuts through them, and delivers another for Complexity.
Yeah, just playing that advanced position where he can quickly work between those 2 angles, and he knows that he has Rush behind him to watch the left side. So as soon as he gets the first kill on the players pushing up the stairs, he just focuses on the right side of that spot. Good work there on the B hold from both of those Complexity players, and Obo's clearly feeling it, pushing all the way down the stairs. They're not ready for him. Nico gets caught out early. It is only Glocks in this round, so should be easy pickings for Complexity. And Obo clearly wants to pad those stats, really going for it, as well as Blame F. Complexity are not wasting time on this anti-eco.
Well, Tessus around the corner, just sitting with the Glock. Shouldn't really be much of an issue right now for Blame F as they start to peek in towards him. They'll go 1 by 1. He's got Poison as well to assist from his blind spot. And that works out perfectly for Complexity. So much map control. They've got the bomb now in their hands, smoking it off as well. If there was any hope for even a bit of damage, it's probably falling out of their hands right now for Heroic. Complexity dealing with these lower tier buys and ecos very well. And will be Complexity up to 4th. Now, I feel a little bit bad for Heroic. I feel like they've had a better opportunity than what they've been able to work with here. Probably could have been in the lead substantially, but Complexity, 2 4-spy wins really has put them in this position. Now they're 2 into the lead, and we're getting a buy back in for Heroic. It's just going to be the AK-47s across the board with enough utility. Not exactly optimal, but good enough. And as you go into the next round here, Heroic, they need to win this round if they want to continue to have this back and forth at the start of Vertigo.
Hopefully we'll get into some of these more standard gun rounds now. We've got the AKs out for Heroic. This is where I think Heroic will be more confident here. And oh, never mind. Blame F gets the spray on the edge of the smoke. I was hoping for Heroic's sake that they could survive early, that they could just have this default to begin the round and then start to set up their plays. But Blame F takes that away from them. Pushing down into the ramp, and this ramp control is starting to look pretty good for Complexity in some of these recent rounds. Poison and Blame F between them have been a real nuisance in that position. And even though Heroic have got themselves towards the B stairs, the CTs are pretty well prepared for this right now. Conflict's even going to go forwards at mid, and he lands a dink, but not the kill onto Stown. So Heroic turn it back into a 4v4. And Obo's continuing to play up close there. Heroic, though, still undecided.
Oh, Borup. It comes down to whether or not he can find Poison. He spots the barrel on the head over the top. An easy kill for Borup. It's the Bulgarian sniper out of things. And Blame F now, well, a lot of pressure on his shoulders. And Molotov from Kadian's about to clear out his position. He has to smoke it off, and he's on the smoke too early. Oh, that is horrible for Blame F. Oh, that is just a nightmare scenario. And now there's an opening to the A bomb site. This is just a round that Complexity will always want to forget unless Rush can step up and conquer every single player. It's the first going down. The bomb plant has to be cancelled. They know that Rush is there. They're going to try and plant on the safe side of the boxes. It's going to work for Rush. He's still alive. Kidian is low, so now 2 versus 2. Rush might do enough here to try and win their team the round, but Kidian, instead of cowering in the bomb site, he gets aggressive and he takes down Rush. And that should be enough to win the round. Obo on 12 HP, having to flee the scene. And it's Heroic with a little bit of luck going their way, I have to say, Alex. Everything was looking good for Complexity. Good kill from Borum taking down Poison. That was the start of the threat being pulled. Complexity's defense crumbles. And you can see that back behind the sandbags, Blamaf knew this Molotov was coming. He throws the smoke preemptively, but it bounces and it goes a little too far. The Molotov doesn't get rid of and it just burns him away. Oh, that's a horrible scenario.
Yeah, he got a little bit ahead of himself there, unfortunately. And then Rush was in a pretty good position to buy time and to slow things down once he got that 1 kill. The problem was that Obo was just a bit too far away to be able to help. Because they've only got 2 CTs alive, they're playing pretty far removed from each other. So if Obo arrives a bit sooner there, then maybe he can get that flank through. Maybe he can catch some players focused on Rush's position. But Rush just ends up getting cleared out of that short spot. So Heroic are able to get themselves a 3rd round on the board. Pretty good start to this game from Borup in terms of frags. He's actually bottom of the team for ADR somehow, despite being the top fragger. He's got a couple of early kills for the team. He's someone that was pointed out on the desk as maybe being a bit quiet for Heroic at times so far in this tournament. But it is his role oftentimes to go in first and to take some of those more difficult roles on this Heroic squad. So seeing him get some early kills is a positive sign for the Danes. Let's see if they can keep it up here into round 8, because they're still up against a buy. Complexity with the full buy on the board, and they say ramp fight is set to continue. There is a slight gap which Cadian is trying to work with. Complexity have 3 players stacked here, though, so it won't be an easy feat for Heroic to get this control.
Ooh, Config getting rid of Borup. Man advantage opened up early on. Like I said, Borup has been the key to open up a lot of these rounds, and it's all falling apart here for Heroic. They've lost 3 players in a few seconds. Kill from Blamef, Config, and Poison has probably just delivered a round win for Complexity. Stown needs this kill, and he'll get it in towards middle. Rush going down, but still so many other players that they have to find, and the bomb not in their possession. It's not a winnable scenario right now for Heroic. This is done. Unless Nico can do anything. Okay, Obo. He's more focused towards construction where he knew Stown was in middle, but that moment of opportunity was delivered to Nico to get close to the B-bomb site. But again, this is looking good in terms of the kills to being able to get Alex, but you also have to consider they don't have the bomb, and there's 40 seconds left. They have to walk into the Lion's Den, and there's so many players watching that bomb right now, so Heroic need to consider their economy right now. Is it worth going and throwing away these rifles and the utility you've got in the hands of Nico? Or do you just save on over into the next round? Well, the time being a little bit of factor, they have to.
Yeah, they got a couple of 1v1s to begin with, right? Because they caught the players who weren't towards the bomb, but now you know you're just running into crossfires. It's going to be really tricky to overcome this. The AWP Poison is here. You've got a couple of rifles locking down the bomb as well. So unless Nico used those nades really effectively or just predicted the positions, it was always going to be a tough time getting that bomb back and then trying to get to a bomb site. There was just so much to do there for Heroic. So a couple of kills allow them to get a pretty comfortable save. Problem is for Heroic, the rest of the team can't really have a great buy around these 2 saved guns. You can already see Borup buying down with all his money, only gets a dig, and the same can be said for the rest of the players. So Heroic get good nades. It's the weaponry that's a problem, and the run boost. No! See you, Nico.
You love to see the attempt, but yeah.
You know what's nice about that is the AK falls off the map as well. That's gone. You're not getting that back.
Oh, that's awful. Heroic are one of the teams you generally see that kind of stuff working out for. They're a team that love that run boost. Doesn't work this time, though. You know, I guess in this kind of round, you need something like that. a crazy play or a little bit of a gimmick to try and give you some sort of advantage, it's worth the risk, but it doesn't pay off. And now BlameF, he's playing behind the sandbags this time. He's not going to throw a smoke. Instead, he's going to take a fight. It's going to work out for 1 kill, but Borup answered back on the deagle. And we're right back into a situation where it still is the one-man advantage in play for Complexity. But Heroic have taken so much damage on board. Cadian's down to 14, Borup on 33. They've only got the 1 AK in play. They were handed a man deficit at the beginning of the round by losing Nico. So this is always going to be an uphill battle for Heroic.
Flash pops over the top, and they can close the distance onto the site itself. Molotov goes down from Complexity. Oh, the smoke's faded. It finally goes back. The second smoke deployed. Or faking out that plant to begin with, and Complexity continuing to just bide their time here. Finally, Borup tries to get the bomb down, but Poison just bangs him through the box. And now Heroic are in trouble. I don't think there's any way they're getting anything out of this. Nice shot from Poison, clearly knowing his angles. Oboe cleans up the final kills. And Heroic have to take another low buy. And the start of this game has just not gone according to plan for Heroic. They haven't really been able to get into the gun rounds that early on. Even that run boost not working out for them, Dinko. It definitely feels like Complexity are the ones in the driver's seat right now.
Well, the Molotov burning at the bottom of the B stairs. It's Config that gets rid of Nico. And a lot of damage being inflicted upon Stown and Borup. Stown down to 19, Borup 80. Now BlameF walks forward. You've got Testis around the corner here with the Deagle. And BlameF is going to walk forward. A chance here, but Testis with the headshot gets rid of BlameF. Now 4 versus 4 in play with Heroic currently walking around the corner with a little bit of a boost to try and elevate Borup's position to give him the advantage. But the flashbang, it's absolutely perfect. And Config is going to find 2 kills. And Heroic have just lost every chance of doing a little bit of damage even into this round. Testis should fall to that HE grenade, and there it is. Just kidding. Now the last remaining player, and Poison, he's always going to re-peek. He's that one AWPer that you know, if there's a chance to re-peek, if he's not dead, he's going to keep peeking. He's going to keep taking kills as well until you shut him down. And Cadian, he's done a little bit of damage onto Config now, but the pressure certainly mounting with that Molotov. They're not pushing him. They don't want to give him a single extra kill here. It's just waiting before he comes around the corner. He's just going to hold that ult down, and there's the kill. Well played from Complexity. Good shutdown again. Config with 3, really adding to the tally. 11 and 4, 10 and 5 on Oboe. He's had a good performance as well. He had a couple of those shutdowns in towards the B bomb site. And Poison stepping up when required upon him with that AWP as well. So Complexity 7-3 up now. Heroic are definitely struggling. We'll see if they can turn that around coming into this gun round.
I don't think we're going to be seeing that run boost again anytime soon. And oh, Config on the mid fight early. Only gets 1 kill for his troubles. Testis rounds the corner for the trade. Rush is still sitting at close mid, while Oboe also thinks about helping his teammate out, actually leaving the B site to be in a position where he can help Rush. But Rush is now reclaiming that mid control alongside Oboe. The CTs have left B wide open here to focus on pushing through mid, and that might be the right read. If they can get a flank going, that can make all the difference in this one.
Ooh. Rush has got a lot of info here. Coming down the bottom of the ladder, it comes down to whether or not he can catch Cadian, who has his nice bit of timing. They don't see each other. What? Okay, Cadian finally going down. That was so awkward. He was about to pull the rifle. Oh, I can just imagine the fear in Cadian's eyes right there when he's seen Rush coming around. It's just unfortunate he doesn't have his AK out. If he has a gun out, Rush is dead. But 4 versus 3, nonetheless, it goes in favor of Complexity in terms of the player count. But the bomb has been planted over towards B. Heroic have a chance to win this. The last 2 remaining players have utility. They're also 100 HP on every single player. So Complexity, they've got hard work ahead of them. They have to get back into this B bomb site. They're taking their time. They also have utility, but no Molotovs to flush these positions out. And Rush is going to be caught. Poison getting the kill back in. It's a 2 versus 3, and Borup, There's a lot on his shoulders right now. He's the front player, the first pillar of support for this post plant, and he falls to poison. It's just Nico left alone, tossing the Molotov onto the site, burning away the diffuser. BlameF has to change position. Into the smoke he goes, and the kill comes in from Obo, and just enough time. Milliseconds in it, nearly pulling it off as Nico, but it's Complexity stealing it away from their hands.
Yeah, they must have thought the molly was enough there. I do wonder if Tessus needed to go for that fight quite so soon as well from behind the generators, because you see that Borat was just kind of waiting and watching the left side of it. I think Tessus might be better served just sitting back and waiting to maybe have his teammate help in there, because going for the solo fight, yeah, you get the one kill, but that's not really what you need in that post-plant position. You mainly want to be buying time. You mainly want to be trying to work with your teammates. And, well, it comes down to milliseconds at the end there for Complexity, but they just about get their 8th round over the line. At least Heroic can still buy. At least Heroic brought that round close, but we need to see round wins here from Heroic as BlameF continues his aggression. Cadian's able to trade this time out. And Config going for more. The spray successful. He almost gets the follow-up. Dink lands onto Cadian, who doesn't want anything to do with Config right now.
I just want to say, Alex, this Complexity are looking so scary. This is one of the best Complexities we've seen in the tournament. They're really peaking as they get later into these tournament stages. And right now, everybody is showing up. We've got Config delivering to the level we know he's capable of. BlameF on those entry abilities, taking those first kills on the CT side. Poison hitting the shots required of him. And Obo, just this consistent anchor over towards the B-bomb site. It's incredible to see such a young player do such a good job in these kind of roles, where it has a lot of... It's kind of boring, right? I mean, when you're an anchor, it is one of those positions where you're just sitting there and your job is to be a rock. Take down the players over and over again, get that consistent kill, and not make too many mistakes. And it's quite incredible that Obo is so good at that role at such a young age. And now it's Cadian left alone into 1 versus 4. Across the board, everybody from Complexity fragging. It's just Rush who hasn't found a kill just yet, and it's Poison that secures victory of a 9th round for Complexity. And what was looking like a close back and forth affair at the start of this map, Alex, has quickly turned into a Complexity landslide.
Yeah, it's definitely got out of hand here for Heroic, who are now 9-3 down on their map pick of Vertigo. As you were pointing out, just a fair few of the Complexity players showing up. I think the thing you were saying about Obo as well, yeah, the fact he's so young and he has so many of these qualities that you normally put with experienced players, like the patience, like the consistency on these spots. He's doing a great job right now on this Complexity roster. And he almost turns some of these anchor positions into seemingly star roles, where he's getting a lot of kills from them, which is kind of incredible. It's pretty rare to have a player that can do that.
Oh, definitely. I mean, he's definitely doing such a good job. Generally, when they come towards the B-bomb site, we've seen it already 2 times out. He's been able to take down 2 or more players. And that is just nuts. Heroic with the pistols. And again, in towards middle. Execute coming through. Smokes up, Molotovs in. Rush, he hasn't really seen a whole lot of action so far on the server. It's time to shine. Oh, God, he gets to a little bit long-winded, but he shuts down 3 big plays. Config backs him up as well. It's just Cadian left alone.
250 trying to find an awkward angle so that he can maybe get gifted a gun. I think it's worth sticking around here. Complexity is so confident right now that they have been taking a bunch of fights. So there's definitely a chance that someone strays into Cadian's crosshair, but that drop down is ill-advised. Gives away his position, gives the kill to Obo. It's also worth mentioning that Config had not been quiet in this tournament, but he hadn't really had a series where he fully took over like we know he's capable of. And I think against Heroic is the perfect time for him to do it, because he knows that he's going to be one of the most skilled players on the server here. He's played with some of these Heroic players before. He's played within the Danish scene. I think he's going to be very confident in this sort of matchup, knowing that he can just take fights against these players. We've seen some highlight plays from him already, and now we see a gun round from Heroic. This time the ramp control looking much better for them. They've lost it at times, and this time Config is the man who loses out. Good kill from Borat, and maybe Heroic can set up some of their plays now that they've got this control and the man advantage.
Well, BlameF getting rid of Borat. Poison as well. Nico in with a headshot. It's a 3 versus 3. 1:20 still left on this clock. Rush pulling himself back away from the A-bomb side. It's a more passive setup, but Stown, keep an eye on Stown right now. He's been very quiet so far, but this is exactly the kind of positions where his playstyle is favored. He can get into these spots where they lose track of him, and he's gathered so much info towards B. That should call the rotation from the rest of his team to come over to this B bomb site, and that's going to save the round for Heroic, save their chances in this one. And Stown, his work's not done yet. He could still yet find impact. If he can get a kill here, that's going to certainly turn things around. That's a big kill onto Obo. And now BlameF coming through the elevator has to be aware that Stown could be in CT, but he's not ready for that angle. Stown with a big play into the round. They lost track of him, and he gets so much info and finds important kills for his team, and a 4th round picked up for Heroic. Complexity can't lose track of everything that was going on there. Completely stack over towards this A site.
Again, I think a lot of Heroic rounds come back to getting that ramp control to begin with. Once they get that A ramp control, they can go back towards B and turn it into a B-sided play. But in so many of these rounds, they've been denied that ramp control. Complexity has been really annoying in that spot. They've been really good at getting aggressive and just taking this part of the map away. But this time round, BlameF's been caught early. Over the top of the smoke, Cadian was ready for the angle this time round. That's a position that BlameF has been playing a fair few times. So a nice adaptation there for Cadian to get himself the opening kill. It's still Config able to push down in towards the ramp, though. Even when Complexity are losing players, they're gaining ground, they're gaining map control, and they're gaining information that could prove very valuable, because you can already see that nade that Obo's put down the B stairs has been able to do damage to a couple of players. And even though Heroic were thinking about lining up this B play, looks like they're now having second thoughts. Can they clear Config?
Oh, Config, the timing is absolutely perfect. Gets 1 kill. Realizes falling back is probably the right call, but I thought he was just going to tuck behind the corner. Instead, goes back into the open, and that cost him his life. That's going to keep the advantage in play for Heroic. Poison positioned over towards short. Now, this is risky. He's got so many angles to worry about, but it's Poison. Of course, he'll get 1. On falls, but Nico is there to trade. That's doubling up, working out, but Obo trying to deny the bomb plant. Rushing with the nade kill onto Borup. Still a 2 versus 2. The post plant is here for Heroic. They're looking for the last round of the half. 10-5. It won't be the worst outcome for Heroic, but they've still got to try and chime it together. The bomb taking away inside of the site. Nico looking for a gap, but he knows he has to swing now. The defuse coming through. Tessa's moving forward too slow. The spray at Complexity steal it away. It's 11 rounds posted at the half. We'll see if Heroic can bounce back as he go into the second.
Close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll
Absolutely. Pistol round is kind of important at this point for Heroic if they want to get a good start here, if they want to have a chance on their map pick. This would be very helpful for them. Molotov and Smoke going into that construction position, and Stown is completely run down. Good kill from Config on the Glock, and the pace continues from Complexity. Nico gets one, but he's instantly traded, and Complexity aren't giving Heroic any breathing room here.
Well, Texas taking down Obo. It's a 2 versus 3 advantage for Complexity with a bomb planted. And Heroic desperately need this pistol round. If not, Complexity up to 12. To then be only 4 rounds away from taking map number 1. And Vertigo is a map that Heroic desperately needed to win. I think Mirage is going to be a real difficult challenge for them. Rush with a clean tap just out to the left side, shutting down Kidian. And now Tester's trying all he can, but he can't win the round at this point. It's all about the damage, and I don't think he'll be even able to do much of that. Rush runs over the top. Testis under pressure. They've won the round already, Complexity, so they're happy with the raw, but now it's just Testis diving around, trying to at least take a few players away. But it's the 12th round for Complexity. They now are only 4 away from victory. And right now, it's hard to see a way in which it doesn't happen, Alex.
You can see some nice aim from Testis at the very least. I'm trying to find positives, Dinko. I'm trying to find positives. It's not easy right now if you are a Heroic fan. But hey, if you're a Dane and you're watching at home, at least you can be happy for Config and Blame F, who've been playing great. Heroic have still got a force buy though, so maybe this is their chance to do something. Tags exchange. Cadian doesn't actually take the full brunt of it though. Must have been through the wall. So he's only down to 59 health. Oh, and there we go. The nade is nicely lined up from Nico. The scout tag does make the difference at the start of the round. Heroic getting themselves going at the start of this force buy.
Oh, well, Kidian, he has 32 HP left, and Stown is going to get 1 kill as Rush going down, and now 5 versus 3, a 2-man advantage in play for Heroic. And Config, he'll start to walk up around the corner, test this. Oh, he's going to find the kill. Config going down in the smoke. That's the first of, or the third of many, as it seems to be right now for Heroic. Obo and Blame F, they're the last 2 standing players, and this is exactly what Complexity did to Heroic in the first half, but Blame F trying to fight back. It's still recoverable here. If Obo can get another, he moves forward with the AK. He needs to pick up Nico, and he's going to do exactly that. He moves forward for another one. Obo just snapping heads right off, and Blame F's going to do the same. It's all on board. Switching out to the AK, but he's taking damage. He's down to 40, and Blame F secures it. 13-4 Complexity. Everything was looking rough. A 5 versus 2, just Blame F and Obo left alone, but they show their sheer ability to play Counter-Strike. They take it back, and they steal this round away.
Such a star-studded roster on this Complexity side. You put any of these players in 2v5s, you probably give them a chance of winning it, to be honest. And there we go, it happens for them. Again, I love watching Obo play, getting those crisp headshots onto the site. He's already proving that he is a top player right now. And Heroic have to sit back and go for the save in this one. A very sad save at that.
Yeah.
Maybe Cadian can get a Zeus kill. That could inject some life into them.
I don't think it's going to be enough life. I don't think there is enough life in this world, Alex, to get Heroic back into things here at this
They
point.
just need to get shocked back into action.
Yeah, maybe. Defibrillator style.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we have seen crazy comebacks before, but with the way Complexity are playing right now, it's going to be a very difficult road. And well, Nico, oh my god, that is awful. Sits there for so long, a full minute just with his CZ out. As soon as they come around the corner, switches to the knife. That's one of those moments where you just punch your monitor.
I hope he hasn't punched his monitor.
No, maybe not. I don't see Nico as the kind of guy to do that. Well, I would forgive him. I mean, that is just awful. But here we go. Can Kidian get it? Oh, there we go, Alex. He gets the Zeus kill at least. That's something. And he's going to try for a little bit more. Didn't get the AK. But it's 14-4 for Complexity. Everything just working out for them. And everything that could go wrong for Heroic seems to be going wrong.
I mean, Cadian's the kind of guy that might try and hype up his team off that Zeus kill. I think they'll at least try and have a little fun with it. You know, try and take the pressure off maybe.
But I also
That's
feel
what I'd
like
hope.
Gideon is so emotional that right now he's probably just very disappointed in the performance. So I don't really know how it would be going right now for Heroic. But I can definitely see that happening. And Config, well, he's got a good start. This is such an important round for Heroic. They lose this one, it is done here in Vertigo. And Borup, an important kill, just dances out from behind Quad, taking down Obo. And our second kill onto Config. This is a huge step up from Borup.
Solid work from him. Repositioning back on the B site, finding that second angle. 2 separate kills on different fights for him. Still got a fair few of the stars alive for Complexity. Rush has also been putting up some numbers in this game, so any of them could get these kills. And in comes the boost for the AK of Blame F, clearing out a few of the angles, but he's going to have to wait for that smoke to fade before he even gets close to a fight. 55 seconds, still plenty of time here. The Molotov for the close angle, but Borup's playing far back. They still have a second molly, which could have been deployed there, but Blame F was the man who had it in his hands. He's going to molly Quad instead, and they've cleared out a few of these spots now, so Borup's position should be one of the more likely ones playing at the back of the site.
35 seconds left. Testus holding on. He's got Borup to back him up. Another push comes through. It has to be a good hold here from Heroic. They can't afford to crumble, and the spray is through. It's Blame F with 1 poison. Okay, right through the box. Domes Borup. And now 2 versus 2 with 20 seconds left. Rush has assumed position. Poison securing the bomb plant. And what was looking so good for Heroic might just fall through their fingers yet again. Complexity are incredible at pulling back these rounds. And okay, another shot from Poison landing, but it's not dead until he walks into the crosshair of Rush, who needs the final kill, and that's exactly what he's gonna go and get. Complexity, everyone is showing up. Rush, we usually look at him as the support player, the supportive element within this team, because they have so much firepower. But even Rush is showing up. Even Rush is having the moments in the clutch. And this is a scary Complexity. This is looking like a Complexity that can win this tournament.
Yeah, they're just stone cold killers right now, every single one of them. Rush waiting at mid. Oh, good angle. Jumped up on that position. Just a slightly different angle that Nico was really ready for. And 4 more kills are all that are required for Complexity to win on Heroic's map pick, for what it's worth. Complexity have Mirage coming up next, which is a map they always love to pick into. I think with how they're playing individually right now, it's going to be suiting them. We're not painting a pretty picture for Heroic right now, unfortunately, Dinko.
No, it's not a pretty picture at all, because we've run
It's
out
almost
of
like I drew the picture, because I'm a terrible artist.
Like trying to follow a Bob Ross tutorial. And
I want to do that one day. I want to try it. I know I'd be bad, but I want to give it a go.
I mean, good luck in Wild Config. Taking down Test with a good opening headshot. A follow-up this time from Rush, though, and Config. I think this just summarizes how this has gone for Heroic. They're just getting out-dueled in every front. Complexity dominant in the first map. It's 16-4. Complexity showing up with a Juggernaut-style performance, and they're looking poised for that grand final spot. Going to the next map, it is Mirage, a map that Complexity have always been comfortable on, and one that I don't really think Heroic will be able to compete. Just based on that first performance, it seems to be a very poor matchup in terms of the individual ability. I'm not really excited moving forward for Heroic. I think this one might be done, Alex. And I think that's a negative way of looking at things, but it's just realistic.
Yeah, I think if I were Heroic right now between these maps, maybe I'd try and go and do a Bob Ross painting. Nice and relaxing. Keep yourself calm, because that's a rough first map to overcome. Your own map pick, you kind of get wrecked. But Mirage is a map that Heroic aren't bad on by any means. We know that Cadian as an AWPer can be pretty aggressive at times. It can suit them. It just needs to be a complete turnaround individually.
Well, luckily for them, they have a short break to try and talk about some of the issues that went on in Vertigo. But that's exactly where we're going. A short break, and then we'll be right back with the panel to break this one down.
and we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. Sleep till I come home. Dream of something sweet. I will be there soon to wake you so discreet.
config who was looking absolutely unplayable at times. And I gotta say, this was if this is what we're going to be seeing from complexity, I don't know what the heroics going to do. It's not just about the firepower. They were getting completely outplayed on their map pick. Now they can play Mirage, But I don't know. I'm not feeling so positive for them at the moment, Freya.
It was absolutely brutal to see, and I really want to go back to that because I know, Christine, we were talking about the importance of that A ramp control way back when we saw Endpoint doing this exact same thing, having that aggression, having that presence. It was so important for them. And then looking on the side of Complexity, man, that is where they won so many of those CT rounds.
Yeah, it is. And when Sudan said asphyxiating, I totally felt that, because that's exactly how Heroic were feeling throughout that entire thing. And Freya, when you mentioned that A ramp, that was exactly it, because you saw the individuals on Heroic trying to run that default. We saw Nico and we saw Stavin consistently trying to make some sort of a lurk, some sort of a default happen. Nico found zero success finding that pick onto Oboe towards that B, and Stan, he had one moment where he actually made that lurk work and converted around. But for Heroic side of things, they just couldn't handle any of the duels that Complexity were throwing their way.
Yeah, normally that's what's so scary, is that they can make it work, especially that duo, right? They're so good at being able to get some presence. But here, it just didn't look like it. And I think we really need to point out Config, because I believe he finished or close to 114 ADR from that series. He looked so aggressive, and Sudan, he is so damn scary when he can pull off stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, like we've always known Config can do this, and we've seen him have his ups and downs over his career, but he seems to have found his home. He seems to not just be aggressive. Look, that's just ridiculous.
Oh my God.
It's obscene. And this is a round, they were winning rounds where they shouldn't be winning. These 4 spies walking out. It was looking a little back and forth initially, I won't lie. I'm like, all right, maybe a 9-6 scoreline the first half, but then Complexity woke up, and that's the thing with Juggernaut. When they start moving, it's kind of hard to stop them, and that's exactly what happened here.
Well, going forward, it's of course going to be Complexity's map pick up next. It's going to be Mirage, and I love that Hawker pointed out, you know, it's not a map that Heroic are necessarily bad on, but I'm wondering from your point, Christine, you know, they've just lost their map pick, 16-4. What on earth are they going to be doing coming into this one?
Oh, it's going to be tough, right? It's going to be totally tough. But Mirage, as you mentioned, Heroic, it's one of their comfort picks. It's in fact a map that they actually pick out in a lot of their series, especially as of late. Now, they did have a pretty close affair on this Mirage versus Endpoint, which if we just do scale for scale Endpoint Complexity, it's quite a bit different opposition. So Heroic, they've got to step up. I mean, I hate to say it, but you got to be able to headshot. You got to be able to win some of your rounds, or some of your duels rather, in order to set yourself up further for a little bit later on into the round. So for Heroic side of things, they just got to wake up.
Well, it really is all on the line going into Mirage. Can Complexity close it out in 2, or will Heroic take it to a 3rd? Find out after this short break.
Stay sweet summertime, sipping in a high, we caught a fever for 2.
What's Treadstone?
A Soviet control.
It's down and Katie and the last two remaining players, and they have absolutely no way into this. Heroic have just been backhanded in the pistol round, and it's Complexity starting things off as they mean to go on here in the second map.
Yeah, the desk was saying that first map felt almost oppressive at times, and that's a pretty good word to sum up this pistol round as well. Almost felt unplayable there. Complexity just land instant headshots. It obviously helped that Heroic didn't have anyone on the B site to begin with. They stacked more towards mid, more towards A. Cadian gets a kill at the end and saves the Kevlar, so he can buy a FAMAS if he wants to. That's the first shot from BlameF, though I barely even see that man over the smoke, but BlameF has got some great vision. Config's landed some great shots in kitchen, and Heroic have to try and win on the force buy here in the second round, up against 3 AKs of Complexity. Heroic have got a couple of nades in there. They've got the scout for Cadian as well as pistols on the rest of their players. Early mid control being gathered by the T side. AK staying at range, and Poison nearly gets that lineup, but won't be landing the shots just yet.
Oh, Oboe taking a good bit of damage from that nade. That's a good start for Heroic. Not too far off here, Testis. A few pixels to the left side, he would have found it. Also, did you see the man who invented the pixel actually passed away a couple of days ago, unfortunately.
Oh.
So shout out to that guy. Very important work being done. We're all here for that reason. And what? Shot being dealt on towards Stown, 14 HP left alone, and Stown is going to find a little bit more. The Deagle headshot onto Config, a second as well. Poison going down. It's BlameF and Russian Stown. This is filthy. We have seen so many moments with the Deagles in this series so far, and Stown delivers another. It's BlameF alone into the 1 versus 2. Where is he going to go with this one? The in-game leader. Freya talked about his carry potential with those big shoulders, and we'll see if he can work it out here in the 1 versus 2. 26 seconds, another kill picked up, and he taps the bomb, trying to pull Borup into the open, trying to put pressure onto the young Dane. As BlameF looks to try and take him down, he'll look in to the kitchen. 7 HP, BlameF realizes just one fraction of a bullet touching him is enough to take him out of the server. And so he gets the bomb planted. Oh, opportunity. He can't afford to take these straight up duels. He needs the headshot, and it's not going to happen. Bort with the body shot. It's going to be Complexity losing this one. Heroic, a huge step up from Stown. 3 deadly D kills as they enter the B bomb site. And that's exactly what Heroic needed after getting destroyed in the pistol round.
Yeah, great to see specifically Stown stepping up as well, because he was at the bottom of the board on Vertigo. He was only able to get 6 kills throughout that map. He had a pretty quiet first map, but we know that he's meant to be one of the standouts on this Heroic squad. We've heard a lot of Danish guys talk about Stown as being one of the next big things to come out of Denmark. And if he wants to prove that, he's got to deliver in these sorts of games. So good to see him starting to show up. We've got the Hero AK by Dinko, the CIS Classic, the 1 AK in the hands of BlameF to try and win this round. Unfortunately, when you take a nade to the face like that, you can't really do a whole lot. That AK has been lost, and I think now Complexity are probably just going to focus on trying to get that AK back into their hands.
They have got that AK now. And Complexity are going to gather themselves outside of this A bomb site. Cadian close by in the ramp, though. They don't check him. You can have a field day up against these pistols and unarmored opponents. I feel like that's exactly what's about to happen here. Although he has changed position up. He's going to go under the wood. As the smoke dissipates, he hears the footsteps. The charge coming in. Is Cadian going to be tested? The first kill onto Rush. The follow-up as well. Cadian with the 3-man spray down. Taking him all away. A lot of money being picked up for Cadian. And Nico getting the last 2 frags as well. It's Heroic 2-1 up. We head into the next round here with Complexity still not really having the cash. So I'll probably see another half buy here from them. Or a full buy. Okay, this is interesting. I mean, you're going to get 4 AKs out. I suppose it does make sense. It's just not a very good buy in comparison to what they could have had if they go into the next round. But I suppose at this point they realize the buy from Heroic is probably a bit of a bonus round. They still have a couple of SMGs in play. So if Complexity are going to pull it off, it would be here and now, I suppose.
Ooh, Cadian is out of there. Blame F with that one dig we were talking about goes for the early fight. They don't send in the AKs first, they just send in Blame F. He goes carefree with the Desert Eagle, and now he's got an MP9 to work with if he really wants to. I wouldn't be surprised to see him stick with the dig though. Currently has the MP9 in hands. It might depend on what sort of range he expects the fights to be at. Either way, Heroic might have to do something here to get themselves back into this round. They're sticking around at mid. You can see 3C2 still focused on mid, even though they lost that first fight. And there goes Nico for the initial kill. SS with a good spray down. Tries the transfer, second headshot delivered. And now Nico's got this kill from the back lines as well. It's all on Rush. A really good mid hold here from Heroic. A good read from Heroic as well, because previously I was talking about how much Complexity like to go for mid control on these sorts of rounds. So even when there are only 4 CTs left, they really heavily focus on fighting off this mid presence, and the crossfires are really well lined up.
Yeah, that's great stuff from Heroic. I think they have to get off to this good start coming into Mirage. I almost feel like it's a win condition for them, and so far so good. I mean, other than the pistol round, it's been the Heroic show. And Complexity, they might fall into this pit where they never really get the economy going. Molotov is going to force Config forward. Oh, Stown. He actually takes damage on that one. Good shot landed from Config, and Stown will think better of re-peeking. He knows you can't really do that against a lot of the players here at Complexity. You can't go for those jump shots. You are going to lose your life. Take the warning shot and hide away. And Complexity, they've got Oboe down here in towards middle, peering into the connector. The bomb from T-spawn heading its way over to the A bomb site to gather up with Rush, who is walking out of ramp. But again, it's going to be very difficult for Complexity to work anything out here. One kill from Oboe up to the window. That is Nico falling victim to it. And now the push from Complexity comes through. It's a multi-pronged approach into the A site via connector, jungle, and the ramp. And Borup, well, he's got to get this first kill. And Rush on his lonesome will crumble. Cadian also assisting. Brilliant stuff from Heroic, really recovering this round. Blame F going down with a bomb. It's just Poison and Oboe left alone in the world, fighting against 4. And Oboe, well, he's still alive with a deagle. He'll manage one, but now just Poison, yet to get a kill. He could change that, but it's not going to happen. Borup plays well from under the wood, a 4K, and delivers a 4th round for Heroic.
Yeah, I think a combination of a little bit of hesitance shown from Complexity and just Heroic using some good utility to deny some of those early pushes. There was a molly put down in connector, which seemed to stop Complexity in their tracks. Blame F was kind of alone at the ramp there when that flash came in towards him. So Heroic do a pretty good job at dealing with the digs this time out. Now they have to deal with the AKs though. Full rifles out for Complexity in this round, and rather than focusing on mid, they're focusing on the J side of the map early. It looked like they're about to pull the trigger, but the Molotov will slow them down. Cadian continuing to hold this wide angle with the AWP, but he's not going to get given a fight, at least not yet. Complexity backing on up. So as soon as they get denied that early A aggression, they keep it slow, they keep it calm. They've still got plenty of nades left to play with. And Blame F is leading the charge back into the B apartments. But it looks like the rest of Complexity might go for this mid control. And again, Heroic have still got quite a few players hanging around at mid. And this is something that Complexity are going to have to overcome. Heroic are already sticking with a fair few players here. Cadian's AWP is also in connector. So let's see if Complexity are able to deny this if they go for this mid control.
Yeah, that's the if, but it looks like it's almost certainty that it's exactly what is coming through. Nico taking away Poison's life at the beginning of the round. Oboe will shut down Cadian in reply. They've got a 4 versus 4 with 40 seconds still intact. Complexity, they've got the mid control they were looking for. Now where else do they go with this? There has been a bit of a push through the apartments from Stown. He's more aggressive. He's got the AWP. He's a very good operator here. This should be a shot for him. Blame F connected with and shut down. 3 versus 3. Nico with an important kill up towards Palace. Rush has been caught a couple of times heading in towards this A bomb site unsuspecting. He does lose his life yet again, but Config cutting right through the head of Nico. But 9 seconds, bomb on the floor. There's not enough time here. The round has been lost for Complexity. 5-1 for Heroic. It feels like Complexity are a little bit lost right now, Alex.
Yeah, they're focusing so heavily again on getting this mid control, but then they have such few nades left when they actually need to push a site. And you see there, Nico is not even worried about ramp or palace. He stands up on the stairs, exposed to both those angles, because he's confident that all the remaining Complexity players are positioned at mid. I think at this point, Complexity might be better served just falling back on something like an execute, maybe a standard A play, maybe something in towards B. It's not going to be a gun round for them in this one, though. Or if it is, it won't be an ideal gun round. And I think they've realized they are better off just going for the half bite. Tech 9 out for Blame F. This is the sort of round where you can go a bit carefree into one of the bomb sites. Config's got a Mac 10 as well. And plenty of nades here for Complexity, specifically the flashbangs looking strong. I think they are aware that they're now against that double AWP setup after seeing Stound's sniper in the previous one. So maybe that's part of the reason why they've got so many flashes here as they all start to move in towards B. Stound is ready on this angle. Oh, it seems like he's aware there are players nearby. The nade should do damage, and BlameF is burning down to low health. He has to fall back, and Heroic seem to have stopped that early aggression from Complexity.
Yeah, that's really good from Heroic. I mean, coming into this, the goal for Complexity into a round like this is to create as much chaos as possible so that these pistols can find some important kills. Maybe one, you pluck a loose thread and you start to unravel the defense. But now Complexity, they fall away and they go back. Now, this is something I feel like a lot of matchmaking teams, if you're watching at home right now and you don't know how to deal with a B rush and it gets stopped immediately, don't commit, don't run in. Sit back for a little minute, go back when they don't have the utility. It may work out like this, but at least you're giving yourself a chance as Testis takes down 3 players. It's 1 kill from BlameF for blind on the Tech 9, and Cadian with the itchy grenade shutting him down as well. 6-1 for Heroic, a very big turnaround in comparison to that Vertigo performance, where they just got absolutely destroyed. So I'm very happy to see Complexity not being as dominant. I mean, from a neutral standpoint, it's good to see Heroic step up because you want to see a good matchup in the semi-final. And Heroic are delivering finally here on Nuke. Or Nuke? Oh, that's a weird looking Nuke. Mirage. I'm just so used to gassing Nuke, Alex.
Oh, I think Cadian wanted to throw the molly to try and disrupt that mid smoke, but he got blocked by his teammate, and it didn't end up happening for him. This time around, Complexity aren't as heavily focused on mid. Yes, they've got 2 players here. Yes, they've got the mid control, but they also have players on the A side of things. Cadian, though, ready for the fight, but he misses the mark on the second time of asking. Borup able to get 1 kill, but he's low on health in CT, and Poison just takes the fight onto short. It's all action all the time in this round, but it's all into the hands of BlameF. He's got himself the 1 kill, but the bomb is long gone, dropped all the way over on the A site. So even though BlameF has plenty of time to work with, he's still going to get both of these kills because that bomb is firmly in the hands of the CTs.
Yeah, 4 minutes still left, though, for him to try and recover this bomb. And if there is a player to pull off a clutch like this, it's going to be BlameF. He spots the first, the second player's low, but they peak together. BlameF took a while to take down Nico, and that gives a millisecond extra for Borup to peek out from CT spawn, and he is going to take that opportunity. 7-1 Complexity. The money's not good here either, so it should be 8 rounds for Heroic. That'll be confirming at least the 1-round lead going into the second half. And if you're Heroic, you're going to be so happy with this turnaround. You've been absolutely dominated over on Vertigo. The only round Complexity have been able to win so far on Mirage is the pistol round. And they're going to try for this B rush again. Straight through the smokes they go. The Molotov gotten rid of, but now a lot of damage being done by the nades. Testis again getting another kill. Cadian stepping up. Config finally finding 1 kill back, but it's Nico diving through the smoke, finding a lineup, but only gets 1 kill from it. BlameF and Config have a chance for a bomb plant, but winning this round is still going to be excruciatingly painfully difficult. And it's going to be 1 kill for Config. Cadian going down. Stound and Borup left alone, and now it's just BlameF. Again, another clutch. Can he win it this time? They're away from each other, so he has got a series of 1 versus 1 fights, and now just a 1 versus 1 up against the AWPer of Stound. He's coming back in from the market area. BlameF crosses on by. Not quite sure if Stound had seen that cross. He seemed to be scoped in through the window. But BlameF certainly not aware that Stound is close by, but now he moves forward. He's going to find him surely, but he hops through the window. Now they've traded positions. Oh no, ships in the night. They go right past each other, and Stound's not going to think that this is a possibility. BlameF in the market area right now. Bomb is taken away. Stown, he's got to tap that eventually. He hasn't got a kit in his back. There is one available in the side, but he has to run over and pick it up. And what? USP straight to the dome of Blame F. And that's the way you win a 1 versus 1. Stown picking up the kit, pulling out the sidearm, and a headshot right between the eyes.
Blame F looked a little concerned there when Stown didn't tap the bomb so soon. I think he was maybe assuming that Stown was in a different position. He assumed that Stown wasn't near that site, but man, trying to get the drop on your opponent while you think he's going to tap the bomb and Stown's just ready for him. Unfortunate for Blame F, but I do wonder if he's better off just waiting there, waiting for that fake defuse to come in, because I think you've got a pretty good angle for the bomb there from Kitchen. It can be a bit awkward at times, but either way, it's Heroic who hold on. Stown with a great reaction shot. And Heroic are still going strong here with an 8-1 lead. It is a bye now for Complexity, so a chance for them to try and finally get their first gun round on the board. Orp out for Poison, AKs for the rest of the players. And remember, Heroic's money is still so susceptible to being broken. With one player surviving in that last round especially, Heroic have had to reinvest on all their players here. So if Complexity can win this round, they could break the bank, and then they could put themselves in a pretty good position. And a slower start to this round from Complexity, I think, is needed. They've been losing a fair few of the early fights in these recent rounds, so this time they slow things down. We're under a minute left in the round, and we still haven't had any fights.
Now, one of these slower approach rounds, but Complexity about to send the majority of the players into the A bomb site. Smoke out for top connector. Good bit of utility still available for Heroic, though. So that is going to slow things down and put pressure onto the Complexity side. The fuse is getting shorter, Alex. The time is ticking away. And Nico. Okay, the spray away. He gets one. There's a player around the corner as well. Config somehow getting a double in that position. He delivers a chance to Complexity, and they might just get onto the site. Blame F getting the bomb plant through. Rush is crossed on over, and the smoke severing the information flow of Testis. He has to move forward, and over the top of the stairs, he sprays wildly, but connects enough shots to take down Poison through the box. It's a 2 versus 2 retake, and Rush, this has to be the kill for him. Sound on the edge of the boxes, there's the kill from Rush. Just Testis left alone, and he's trying his best, but it's not looking good. It looks like it's a done deal, and Blame F secures victory. Another round for Complexity other than the pistol. It's been a long time coming, but they have to turn it into consecutive success. It can't be a one and done. But this play from Config, the transfer was brilliant, and the rest of the squad stepping up. Rush having these impact kills. And we generally talk about Rush again being that more supportive element, the player you don't look to have these huge step-ups individually, Alex. But so far in the semi-final, he's had a load of impact.
And now Poison's getting involved with the AWP as well. Early kill goes his way. And as I was saying earlier, Heroic's money is in trouble. Tassis and Borat get Deegs into this round. At least Cadian and Stown both have rifles, and you can see Cadian's looking to make the most of that with the Palace push. Rush is watching for it, and Cadian decides just to back away. He's already got a fair bit of information on this early aggression. So he wants to stay in Palace while his teammates rotate and stack the B site. Definitely not a bad idea. Although Cadian's actually moved down towards the A site itself. I'm not sure that was a necessary reposition from Cadian. I feel like if he stays in Palace, he might have a better chance of just denying the bomb and buying time, because that's what he has to do. But now he's rotating all the way away from A. So this is what the call was from Heroic. It was a full-on gamble stack towards the B site, and Cadian has just rotated at the wrong time. Complexity will walk onto the A site, and they will be delighted to realize that it is completely clear for the taking. This will be a free round for Complexity, and Heroic will probably just be stuck saving.
Yeah, that's... You can see, though, how many of these rounds have been not so much close, but how many players Heroic have hemorrhaged in their round wins. Because as soon as they lose one round, they're set back to what is a terrible bye. And now they're left with no other option but to save after losing one player. They can't even attempt to retake. There's too much risk involved, and the likelihood of winning the retake is very slim. So they have to save what they've got going into this next round. And Complexity, this is where they can start to claw their way back in. They may have had a nightmare start here in Mirage where they're down 8-1, but the fact that they have dropped a few players from Heroic every single time when it went to the round losses, it has put them in a position where they can pick this up. And the crowd's going wild, Alex. The synergy in the crowd to all clap at the same time, it is unbelievable.
They're all looking very stiff, Dinko. I don't know what we've done to the crowd. I don't know if you've done anything. Have you slipped something into their drinks or something?
That's a wild accusation, Alex.
No, I'm just wondering.
No, I think they just need a little bit of WD-40. They don't look so human, so maybe they're robots. And while we get into things, it's Heroic with the M4A4 in the hands of KD, enough for Masked out for Stown. And the rest of the squad, well, just pistols. And Config has taken early damage. He's down to 49. But Complexity shouldn't be worried too much. It comes down to this one player, Katie. And can he find anything? Getting aggressive, Poison looking the wrong way. That's the old call, but luckily, Blamef able to trade. And if you're Poison that, you're just so annoyed. You have those scenarios where you've just looked away, you're walking away with your back turned, and you get pushed through ramp.
Just the USP for Nico. Considering he is completely alone on this A site, I, for one, don't fancy his chances of holding against the 4 AKs that are about to push him. If he even gets one kill, that would be probably an overachievement at this point. In comes the execute into the A-bomb site, and Nico is ready and waiting. Molotov about to land on his position as well, which will make matters even worse for him. Config ends up getting that kill. Complexity will muscle their way onto this A-bomb site. Tesses, he comes kind of close, but Obo gets him through the smoke. There's Down. How has he not got that kill? He got the first damage. Finally, Config falls, but the bomb's already been planted, and Heroic's chances remain slim at best.
Oh, they definitely remain slim. And whilst Down trying his way through his rush with a headshot, Obo taking down Borup. It's a 4. Complexity is what I was talking about. The fact that they are now in a position where they can make this half look far more respectable. 3 rounds left in the half. A buy coming in from Heroic. They're going to invest everything into this. And if Complexity manage to pick this up, which they should be favorites to do in terms of having the head-to-head buy, Complexity certainly have the better one. So we go into this next round. If they win this, Alex, this is where Complexity are probably looking at a likely 7 rounds. And considering it was 8-1 at one point, Alex, that's very impressive.
That would be a nice turnaround for Complexity. I think this slow start, I think, comes down to, at times, Complexity having, you could argue, maybe even a bit too much freedom for the individuals. And you can understand why Blamef would give these players freedom to make plays and to do things through mid. It just feels like there's a lot of individual plays that end up coming through for Complexity sometimes. And sometimes that goes great for them. Sometimes that can be a struggle. So I think Blamef's got that really difficult balancing act of not wanting to kind of keep any players on the leash too much, but also not wanting to give away that freedom in every round and then starting to let it spiral out of control like we've kind of seen in this game. And this time it is a more set strat for Complexity. 2 smokes deployed into A, but the bomb is back over towards B. So this is a fake being sold on the A site, and Nico's burning. Oh, he's down to 30 health there. This rotate is coming in as well. The B site is really vulnerable right now. Stown has got a tough task on his hands.
Has been excellent so far, though, in this B bomb site when called upon. Remember back a couple of moments ago with the Deagle. Rifles have been sold as well, but now he holds again. They come in towards him, holding from jail. He will get 1 kill onto Rush. The bomb on the floor. He's going to look for a little bit more. Obo, the second victim to the M4, and they keep coming. That is incredible from Stown that he finds 3 kills from the 1 position. Complexity is given 1-by-1 fights, and Heroic will be given a 9th round. If you're Stown there, you're loving life. They just come in 1-by-1. The first is through, easy kill. The second comes in a few seconds later. You just get this 3rd kill on the Poison. Expected a flashbang, but it didn't come. You just peek out and get another frag before finally going down. Complexity. I mean, it could have been better at that entry to the B bomb site.
Yeah, that is poorly executed there for Complexity because the call was spot on. Stown was completely alone, 4 of the heroic players were focused on the A site. They were so far away on the rotate. So if you just get a 1-for-1 trade, even if you give up 2 players and get the trade, that might be enough as long as it's quickly going to get you onto the site. But they take way too much time to actually get that kill. And oh wow, Poison gets that shot while blind. Finally, his AWP coming into play. He's had a really quiet game so far here on Mirage. And he wins that fight against Cadian, brings it back into a 4v4. And this time, BlameF is all the way through. Oh, what? He loses the fight. Boris somehow gets away with it. Obo able to win one back, but the trades are keeping on coming. And Testes is going to be caught in the open. Poison with another one. And it's all gone wrong for Heroic. Such a weird round, Dinko. I don't really know what just happened, but I do know that Complexity got the win.
That's all that matters for Complexity as well. Coming into it, they needed to reply after what was a horrible round on the B bomb site, but they do show up in the chaos. It's Complexity that come out on top. And Heroic, look at their buy, Alex, got into the last round of the first half.
Not ideal is the way I'm going to put it, and that's putting it nicely.
Very nicely. Yeah, it's pretty rough here for Heroic. I mean, it's still a good half. 9 rounds, they'll be happy with that, especially considering their first map performance. This is a big turnaround. But Complexity, if they get 6 rounds, well, they'll be very happy with that as well, considering they were 8-1 down. So, in a good comeback, Heroic could still walk away with this. 10-5 at the half, which would be brilliant for them. But Obo trying to start things off. The MP9 has been spotted, the shoulder peeking around, but Borup somehow stays alive, peeks into the open, and takes down Obo. That is so unfortunate for the young American. He had absolutely no idea how to deal with that one. And Borup just not taking any damage either. He's just standing there being protected. And he'll upgrade that MP9 swiftly to an AK-47. And Cadian boosted up at the top. Oh, BlameF, he's caught in the open. Awkward aim duel for both of the players there. But it's BlameF that walks away on top, and Rush now finding success from Powers, burning out the Underwood player. Borup with the AK he managed to find at the start of the round off the corpse of Obo. Works out taking down Config. And now it's a 3 versus 3. 30 seconds left. Rush still in Palace, this time waiting for his teammates. And now he swings on by, but it's Testis with the body shots that delivers death. And now it's 20 seconds left. BlameF and Poison in a 2 versus 3. With 15 seconds, Testis peeks into the open. It's BlameF with a lot of damage taken. And now it's just Testis stuck in the site. He's been spotted. Poison with a good kill, but there's 8 seconds, and that's the bomb. Borup has dropped the bomb in the open. You have to immediately start planting if you're BlameF. And Borup knows there's no time. What a way to win it. 10-5. Borup steps up in the last round. The MVP. Heroic will get 10 rounds. We'll see if they can continue and send us to a 3rd map in the second half.
My crew, yeah, we're lawless. Got the man, them thinking that we're flawed.
We have exciting news for you.
What you're about to hear is the most dramatic thing you ever heard in your whole life.
No way.
There we go.
Wow. Who's up for that?
Exciting, right?
Throughout the first map. I mean, he's been pretty good on the second one as well, but not quite at the same level. And I think that's fair to say for the vast majority of the Complexity roster. They have looked quiet. Blame F shows up because Mirage is his playground, but other than that, it has been a pretty quiet performance in comparison to Vertigo from Complexity.
You know what, Dinko? They say it's a technical pause, but I reckon it's the crowd that have made this pause happen because they want some more airtime. Look at them.
They do.
They're loving it.
Hungry for it.
They're celebrating the technical pause.
I'm glad we've got this. It's kind of cool being in the arena as well. And while we get things going again into the second half, just a few more seconds as we re-enter the game. And it's got Heroic on 10, 5 rounds for Complexity, struggling by the wayside. We'll see if the Juggernaut can come back on the CT side. This is where we've seen Complexity do their best work. So this is a scary time. If Heroic don't win this pistol, you may potentially be letting Complexity back into things. Heroic start their charge. They're going quickly towards the B-bomb site. Rush is going to arrive. This nade might do a lot of damage. You keep tipping down pretty low as they dive on out at Config with the first kill. So much damage being done to Heroic. They're losing players, but they finally get one back, but it's Blame F, the clothesline, doming through, and it's just Gideon left alone, and he's picked off as well. Blame F with a triple kill into the pistol round, and Complexity with a 6th.
Yeah, fairly big risk for Complexity to stack quite so heavily on the B site there, but my god, does it pay off for them. The early nade damage helps. You see quite a few assists coming through, and then Blame F just clinches it at the end there with a nice 3K. And that pistol round puts Complexity back on track in this game. Hopefully for their sake, their CT side can be a bit stronger. Remember though, they won that first pistol round over on their T side, and then they lost this second round. So let's not get ahead of ourselves, Dinko. Let's make sure that Complexity can close this one out, because we've seen Heroic pull off this exact round back in that first half. And Rush needs to be a little bit careful here on this B-bomb site. Nade put down, does do some damage, but the flash comes in. And Rush with MP9 has got to be careful. Spray successful onto the first man. Nico's there for the trade, and in comes the push towards B. Nico with another one. Complexity starting to fall here, starting to crumble on the B site. I think they're going to have to concede this bomb plant.
Well, the bomb going down, Stown securing it. Now Heroic. Could they potentially win on the Deagles? This has been a crazy matchup so far for these second round force buys. And Heroic currently stand with a man advantage still, thanks to Nico, who has not stopped. He's still rattling shots, and there we go from Nico. Another one added to the tally. That's 3. We've had so many moments with the Deagles, Alex. We started with Config's ace. We had Stown stepping up here in the first half. And now Nico delivering death with his Deagle. Complexity win both pistol rounds, and they're down to 6 rounds. That's so terrible for Complexity. They're in such a negative downturn right now in comparison to their Vertigo performance. This is kind of unbelievable how this has happened. What a performance from Nico, though. Stepping up. The Deagle just dishing out damage everywhere.
Yeah, got to give props to Nico in general, coming back onto this Heroic roster, because he went without playing a competitive game on HLTV for 6 months. And he came right back into this team, and he slotted in instantly and just looked solid. He came back a few months ago now, and he's turned into one of the stars of this squad. And now Heroic have put themselves in great shape here. Tactep with 1 kill, but here come the deeds of Complexity. Config and Oboe both landing kills. And who knows where this game is going to go, Dinko. I can't predict anything right now.
Well, peeking out towards top middle, it's Stown with the kill on the poison. Oboe picking up 1 as Stown replies to the AK-47. It's Rush with the Deagle falling as well. They just go 1 by 1 and get absolutely torn apart by Stown. Picking up the 3K into round number 18. It's just Config left alone. He's got 1 versus 2 in total now with a scout. No kit, fails the jump. This is definitely looking like a locked-in heroic round. But then again, this config, and he's now found himself a rifle, M4A1S. They go on to the other side of the map, and config has got to find himself over towards B very quickly. He has no kit, no utility, and he's got 46 HP.
Oh, he's just got the right read, but I don't know if he gets here in time. The Molotov lands, but Config's going to go through it. He's going to go through the flames and go for the first fight. Config almost gets the chance for the second, but Nico keeps it going for his team, keeps his composure, and makes sure that Heroic win that round. And now, Heroic should have put themselves in great shape to close out Mirage. 12-6 lead, likely going to be turned into a 13-6 here because Complexity can't really buy a whole lot of anything. You can see Config's got 1 CZ, and that is it. So Heroic with a really impressive turnaround, considering how that first map went, considering that they were getting beaten up on that first map. This has been great stuff from Heroic, and who knows, this could end up being a competitive semi-final. I would love for that last map of Overpass to come through as well, because that's a map that the Des pointed out. Both these teams don't play often, so that would be a real test to see where both of these teams are at on that map.
It would be a fun map to enter to close things out. I'm glad that Heroic have been able to step up. Vertigo, for some reason, just look completely off for them. But here on Mirage, this has been a different story. And we talked about Complexity picking Mirage. We've said it has been a comfortable battleground for them throughout the entirety of this roster's history, right? But so far in this tournament, they've picked it and they've lost it. And the times that they've won it, they still haven't looked fantastic, right? So it's kind of a weird scenario for Complexity where I feel like they're very comfortable on this map. They think they're comfortable, but so far the results haven't really been proving that as of late. A little bit of work needs to be done on the map. But Heroic, they're going to be very happy right now. Bomb plan coming through. Up against the full eco, just the 1 CZ investment, but the rest just USPs. They go for the stack, and Heroic go to the other side of the map. So 13-6. Heroic are 3 away from victory.
I've got a question for you, Dinko. We just saw the bomb code come up on the screen. Do you know the bomb code off by heart?
I do not.
Oh, what a noob.
I did, but then I kind of forgot it.
It's 7355608. Say it with me, everyone at home.
Oh, God.
I know all the Twitch chat knows it.
It's not happening, is it? I can hear them, Alex.
You can hear them? You've got Twitch chat in your head. Oh my God, I feel sorry for you. What sort
exactly.
Of
no one wants that. That's the worst thing that can happen to a person.
I'm just imagining if you actually had Twitch chat following you around throughout your life, like you ask a girl out and everyone, you just start hearing pogs in your head or something. Oh God.
Yeah, well, the thoughts of Alex Hawkins, everyone. And while 13-6, Heroic 3 away from victory as Complexity invest into this one. It's not the best of buys. They have got a scout in the hands of Poison, a FAMAS on Rush and Oboe, the 2 premium rifles in the hands of BlueF and Config. But for the most part, it's still a scrappy buy. And this is one Complexity almost have to win if they want to have a comeback here on Mirage.
Cadian leading the charge through Underpass. Down not too far behind him. Cadian doing a fair bit of damage there. And as you rightly pointed out, not perfect weaponry for Complexity. So Poison's only got the scout in that position rather than the AWP, which is obviously the sniper he'd rather have. There are still some advantages of the scout, though. You've got that fast movement to go in and out of the angles to try and duck and dive and dodge. Down searching for something on the B side of the map. It's been Down and Cadian just kind of sticking together as a buddy system right now at the start of this round, just seeing if they can find any early picks. But now that that's not happened for them, the rest of the players going out to A, and Nico gets a very quick kill.
Oh, a nice kill from Nico. Oboe going down, and now, well, we've got ourselves a 5 versus 3. Complexity certainly not favored in this round with 40 seconds left. Heroic just walking onto the A bomb site. Bomb, it's in sandwich right now. 35 seconds. Eventually, they're going to have to cross to the bomb site. BlueF and Config, they've may be down in this scenario, but don't count them out. They certainly still can pull this back. And while Rush is going to try and help from short, a good couple of kills now coming across the board, and suddenly it's back into a 2 versus 2. Heroic perhaps get a little bit complacent, giving up a few of these fights, and now eventually commit to the bomb plant. It's Config into the clutch. He can win this 1 versus 2. He dives forward, but the spray is not good. He cannot win that aim duel. He needed to pick it up almost immediately, and it's going to be a 14th round for Heroic. Now just 2 rounds from victory. Complexity, they don't have the money coming into this one either. This is looking closer and closer to being done.
Again, sharp stuff from Nico, who has been more of a supportive element of some of his previous teams. I think he's been freed up a lot here on Heroic. He's been a valuable part of this squad in terms of fragging, in terms of taking some more of those star roles. And we gave Complexity a lot of credit for their fragging distribution on the first map. We've got to give the same props to Heroic in this one. Nico's at the top with 17 kills alongside Stown, and then Cadian at the bottom now has 12. So they're all very close together. Rush with a nice kill on the dig, but that's all he's going to get. Cadian rushes him down. And even though Poison's got the scout near the B site, he's not really in a position where he's going to get too many chances to use it.
Oh, Config trying to fight middle. He gets absolutely wrecked by Testis, although able to assist in terms of getting the Vengeance killed. But now goes to the 3 versus 3. Nice shot from Poison. I love when Poison's on the scout. He pulls off some incredible things with this every now and then. And Stown and Nico into the 2 versus 3 now that Poison is given the advantage on over to Complexity. They start to walk back in, but Stown, he's not moved. He's not budged at all. He's got a good spot for this. The first kill, the second as well. It's actually Nico that's taking that short player down. And now Blim F into the 1 versus 1. He runs forward, but no kit. He has no kit, so winning this round becomes impossible now that the time is ticked. He's just looking for this kill, and he's not going to budge here. Nico not giving him even the satisfaction of the final frag, and he'll go down to the bomb as well. 15-6. It's Heroic just 1 away from taking us to the 3rd map. Complexity have looked down and out here on Mirage. And heading into Overpass, I think that's going to be, like you said, a true test for these 2 teams. And it's anybody's matchup now.
Yeah, you look at the stats on HLTV for Overpass, you basically have no maps played for both teams. You have that 1 map played by Complexity on Overpass against Fours earlier in this tournament. It used to be their permaban, but looks like Complexity are going to start to play it. And then Heroic also have it as their permaban, but recently have started not banning it in some of their series. They haven't played it yet, though. And that will be the true test. That will be really fun to watch for. Also, I don't know what it is about this map, but for right now at least, it seems just all the Danes are playing well, and then the couple of other players for Complexity are having a bit of a tougher time, because Blame F is actually top fragging the server right now with 19 kills. Config's got 15 as well, but some of the other stars haven't quite been as on point for Complexity. Let's see if they can get this round over the line, though. Nico holding patiently. Spray successful, but Flame F was always going to be able to get the trade, and Stown's been caught at the ramp. Config's secondary AWP comes into play. Some solid trades early from Complexity.
Oh, that's just unbelievable. Flame F. Yeah, he's having a great time. This is why I always talk about it. Flame F being the beast on Mirage. It's his playground, the map he's most comfortable on as just a solo player. You can see he sets himself up for a whole lot of success. He is the in-game leader of the team. We'll see him get aggressive. We'll see him have his moments across the map. The issue here for Complexity is if it's just Blame F, then you got a bit of an issue. You need everybody else showing up. Poison's on 9 kills, yet to break double figures. The only player on the server below 10 kills. And he's your AWPer. You need him to deliver more than what he's doing right now.
Boost up for Config. Could be well timed. It's a very tight angle he has to work with. These are the sorts of shots that I could never land, Dinko, but pros are slightly better than me. Cadian waiting on the other side as well. Here comes the aggression. Cadian misses the first time, but he gets it second time of asking, and in comes the push to B. Rush has to hold this down as the anchor. First kill is good. Looks for more, but he's not going to find it. Tesses takes the trade, and Poison's been caught out in the open. This is looking like Heroic will be taking it over the line. A 4v2 is all they need to close this out.
Yeah, it looks like we are almost confirmed Overpass. The 2 versus 4 retake attempt for Complexity. It'll be Obo and BlimF trying to make the impossible happen. And well, BlimF might just do it. He's got 2, but look at the flank. Nico looks to try and spoil their party. It's just Obo. He has the info of where Nico is, but now he searches for the other. He knows he's on the van now, but the time, the crossfire, it's heroic to send us to map number 3. It's a huge step up for them coming into the second map after being absolutely obliterated on map number 1. Vertigo was not a good showing from Heroic, but they show up here on the second map. A dominant win over Complexity. Now it's the Overpass.
Yeah, huge credit to Heroic for the bounce back. I think a lot of lesser teams would probably crumble under the pressure of that second map, but they get the good start. They start to get rolling, and Overpass for me, it's just going to come down to, I think, who's more prepared for it, because they both ended up floating it through the veto. I'm really excited to see how that goes down, because it's such a big question mark for both these guys.
Exactly. There's only one way to find out what we'll be seeing on Overpass, and that's to go there. That's exactly where we're going after this break. We'll be right back with the desk to break this one down.
Peggy 18.
PlayStation.
We're the baddest, baby, 'cause we rule the planet. I'm lying to check out my status, and you can't do nothing about it.
People going round with the eyes closed, screaming out loud.
We thought it might have been all over, but on Mirage, Heroic proved they were not to be counted out. 16-7 as they take Complexity's map pick and the Danish side step up to the plate when it matters most. This series is going the full distance and it will be concluding with Overpass very shortly. But before that, myself, Potter, and Blair have got to break it all down on Mirage. And Christine, it was a total turnaround for Heroic.
Man, yeah, and what a turnaround, and what a time for the stars, the young stars on Heroic side of things to show up and showcase such. Man, Staven is an anchor. He's an anchor. He showcased his AWP skills with that over towards B the other day, and today it's all about that rifle work. He held down the fort, and they showcased such a strong defense.
And this is something that we were saying, like during the game, you can just look at the kill, the distribution of kills rather, over on that Heroic side. It's a little bit more now, but during the game, Blair, it was just so even, man. They were all stepping up exactly when they needed to.
What surprises me looking at the kill spread is the difference in the total number of kills between Heroic and Complexity. Complexity having a total of 73 kills, 84 for Heroic. It's just a difference of 11. You look at a scoreline, 16-7. That is not close at all, right? And what's wild is how you rarely win both the pistol rounds and yet wind up losing in that fashion. And you got to give kudos to Heroic. Like Potter said, Staven on the B bomb set being an absolute beast, but also small little mistakes being made by Complexity. I felt like there was a lack of sync, I feel like, in the way they were approaching. For example, the B bombs with Staven got like a 3K or 4K with the deagle. Like the timing, no flashbangs to flash him out, just peeking in one by one. They're giving too many opportunities, but I still can't take anything away from Heroic. I felt like I could hear the bells tolling for them. Just took those bells and just tossed it away. Map number 3 coming up.
Exactly, indeed. And I do want to start off by touching on a Heroic CT side, because I feel like there were so many moments where all the players were just really stepping up. For you, Christine, who was a star from that first half?
It's gotta be Borup. I mean, I had to highlight Borup. So how the hell did he get that pick with that MP9 long distance in lower B? After he gets that, he picks up the AK in the last round of the half, and he's able to follow up and complete with the 4K. So this is the round right here. That's gross. First of all, you're not supposed to be able to do that. But I mean, that was just Borup. He stepped up right when Heroic needed him most. And going into this Overpass, man, I have high hopes. Like I said, Testis, he was on Copenhagen Flames prior to joining Heroic, and we saw him at Flashpoint, and the map that he was shining the most on was this Overpass. He was so confident on it, especially on the T side of things. The space that he was taking over towards that bathroom side, he has no fear. He's got that young blood in him, so it enables him to make those kinds of plays. So I had no doubt. I never doubted these Heroic guys. We're going on to this map 3. It's Overpass. I'm so hyped to see both of these teams performing on it.
I love that dedication to your predictions, Christine. But you know what? It's for good reason, right? We're going into Overpass. As Hawker mentioned, it is a little bit of a question mark for both of these teams. Where are you seeing this one landing, Blair?
I don't know. Heroic haven't played this map since February, where they played, I think it was like the Ice Challenge back in London on the 1st of February, if I'm not mistaken, which has been more than 6 months ago. They haven't played it at all. And this game of chicken now, well, it's time to show if they can really hang with Complexity, who have 100% win rate, albeit they've only played it one time. The one time they didn't ban it, Forest picked it, and Complexity were looking very, very confident. Now, looking at Heroic, they're looking great on Mirage, but we don't have data to work with. But the data we do have is Complexity looking very comfortable on it against Forest, a team who do like playing Overpass. So I gotta say, I still see Complexity taking this, and it should be a closer affair, but I still see them taking it.
I think that's what is going to make this one so excited. We really don't know where it's going to be landing with this one, and we're going the full distance. It's going to a third, and Overpass is up after this.
We're losing him?
What do you want to do?
Ew!
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Dreamhack Open Summer. It's the third map of the first semi-final here in the European region, and Complexity started things off well with the one-sided win over on Vertigo, but a huge answer back from Heroic heading into map number 2. And now on Overpass, it's anybody's game, Alex.
Yeah, I was a bit worried we were going to end up passing over Overpass with how the first map went for Complexity, but Heroic have brought us here, and now we get to see who is going to be hot to trot on this map. As the desk was pointing out, we have